Parker, Garrett Cole is getting Tommy John surgery. Now, I just want to open up with this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being everything's fine, to 10 being it's time to freak out. Where should Yankees fans be right now? Because this is pretty serious stuff.
I think they should be freaking out personally. There's a lot of implication to a Garrett Cole, Tommy John situation. And that's because they have put themselves in a position where they alienated the one guy who could come in and help shore up their rotation in a big way in Marcus Stroman. And that's kind of the only depth piece they have. And now Luis Gil's going to be out for significant time. Garrett Cole's out for the entire season. And like, we still haven't even seen Max Fried in the pinstripes. Like I think the panic button has to start looking real appealing to Yankees fans. Now, granted, they're not out of it. It's, you can always go get somebody. People are talking Sandy Alcantara and stuff like that. But Garrett Cole getting Tommy John surgery is, I think, the most significant injury news to come out of spring training so far this year.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I look at that rotation and it's just like you said, Gil and Cole. Like beyond that, like if you had those two in the rotation, it was going to be Cole, Gil, Rodon, Fried, and you had one other open spot. Like that's a solid. That's one of the best rotations, if not one besides the Mariners, the best rotation in the American League.
Oh yeah,
to lose
really
those.
Good.
To lose those two, now you have Marcus Stroman in there with
Clark Schmidt,
and Will Warren. Like it's just it's so uninspired, and this team really went from they could repeat as the AL pennant champs to I don't know about that. I would not bet on that right now.
I feel like if they're not, it's not this bad, but if they won 84 games, it's like not off the table. If they win like 83, 84 games, and you're like, 2025 was one of those years for the Yankees. Because, like, think about what happens to this lineup if Aaron Judge misses significant time. If Aaron Judge misses 60 games this season,
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. It's going to be, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see kind of how they open up the season. I think.
Who's their DH right now? Ben Rice?
It's not... Right. So
whoever's not catching between Ben Rice and Austin Wells.
So it'd be Ben Rice. They have Alex Jackson, who's a non-roster invite. They have Oswaldo Peraza, Trent Grisham, if you want a throwback name right there. I mean,
boy.
There's nobody. I don't know. It just got really bad really fast. I was really high on the Yankees. I thought this year they were gonna. The chances of them ending up in the World Series was pretty high. Now I am very much doubting that if things continue status quo here.
Yeah, I mean, where I probably fall along this as a Red Sox fan, where I think the division's headed now. No, this was like worst case scenario. This is worst case scenario for the Yankees. Guy who won a Cy Young 2 years ago, who looked at least formidable in the second half and playoff run last year. He wasn't like the Garrett Cole of old. And honestly, like his presence on the mound over the last, season of his work really is what gives me a lot of pause and a lot of concern moving forward, especially if this is a detrimental Tommy John surgery, which to be frank, Tommy John surgeries this late in somebody's career. And I'm not trying to say the guy's ancient, but this would be his age 33 season. So like, this is a long time to have gone. Credit to him. It's a long time to have gone without getting clipped. And here it comes. Let's see how he bounces back. If there's anybody in the world who's got the dog enough in him to come back and to work his way through it and become a better pitcher, if there's anybody who's cerebral enough a pitcher to reinvent himself in like a CC Sabathia-esque way, it's Garrett Cole, especially with a beard. Now that the Yankees can do that. But this is concerning for sure for his career, for the rest of that contract. I mean, the Yankees kind of saw the writing on the wall. We saw this whole thing with his contract happen this past offseason.
Correct.
And it's like, the medical staff that sees you every day seems to be a little doubtful.
And last year he did not start off the season healthy, and he logged a lot of innings despite that.
I thought he was going to get Tommy John last year. after the spring, all the fiasco with his elbow. This is the same exact news cycle that happened last year in spring. It's just that the thing happened that we all thought was going to happen.
I know, and I think he was just trying to kind of make it last as long as he could without doing anything.
It was the Juan Soto season.
Yeah.
You couldn't lose him for the Juan Soto season. Credit to him, like, absolutely insane competitor attitude. But I genuinely think, I bet there's a doctor out there that was like, probably should have gotten Tommy John last season, man. And I wonder how it stinks that they didn't win that World Series. It stinks that they didn't win that World Series after that kind of a sacrifice, because you never know what kind of damage that causes internally. And I've seen a bunch of people be like, oh, the Garrett Cole, he pushed through to try to win a World Series with Juan Soto, and then he was the reason that because of the not covering first base, he was the reason they didn't win. That was Game 5, guys. Like, it was already a 3-1 hole by that point. Like, I wouldn't go ahead and put the whole series on Garrett Cole.
No.
But yeah, I'm glad you let off the show with that. Welcome to Late Night Baseball, everybody. Welcome to the show.
We're just gonna open with depression, with baseball depression. You know what though? I think I may need some Tommy John surgery, because I've been logging so many innings on MLB the Show. It's been crazy. I've just been deep in it for the last 48 hours.
Yeah, you and I both were texting each other last night as the game dropped. I played 2 hours last night and did basically all the moments and started my Diamond Dynasty grind. And tonight's going to be my big jump in night. It's 6:33 p.m. my time, and I'm drinking a Monster because we're going to be up tonight. We're going to be up late. We're going to be playing some MLB. And then this Sunday, I'm just hanging out at home. I got nothing on the schedule except just some good old grind time playing MLB there. I'm excited. It's a good game. It's fun so far.
It is. I'm really enjoying it. You start off with Diamond Dynasty. I started off with franchise because that's my mode of choice, and I have to share with you this lineup I put together.
Okay.
And rotation for my franchise, because you're gonna love it and the people are gonna love it. Okay. So, and this is all trades, folks. I don't do any of that like forced trade shit or anything. This is all pure trades. Okay. So my lineup is Mason Wynn at short.
Ooh, that's good.
It is Braden Montgomery in left.
In left?
Who
the hell do you have in center?
Please hold. I have Braden Montgomery in left. I have Owen Casey from the Cubs in right.
Okay.
I have Joey Gallo at DH, which, by the way, is leading in the 7 games I've already played. He's leading the majors in home runs, NBD.
Absolutely. Front office masterclass from our guy, Anthony, over here.
Andrew Vaughn at first. I kept him. Okay. I have Roman Anthony in center.
Okay, great
Boom.
Pick. Great pick.
I have Kyle Teal at catcher.
Okay.
And then hold on, let me make sure I have these right. I have Matt Shaw at third base, also from the Cubs, in the same deal. And then lastly, I have your boy Christian Campbell at second base.
Okay, who's playing short?
Mason Wynn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you said that. Yep, Mason Wynn. Okay,
dude,
I'm liking this Red Sox.
I know.
Theme we've got.
It's like the Red Sox of the Central.
Yeah.
Now that basically stops there with rotation. The rotation is very interesting, though. My rotation going into MLB the Show with the White Sox is, I'm already forgetting, Sean Burke, who's currently on the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Burns, 2024 first round pick for the Reds. I have him on there. I have our good friends Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter. Obviously.
Yeah. That's some good stuff right there.
And I'm forgetting my 5th guy right now. Oh, Drew Thorpe, also on the White Sox, because I'm a Thorpe guy. So I'm rolling with all top prospect lineup here. And right now I'm 5-4, so I'm feeling pretty good.
That's pretty sick. I'm happy. I'm so happy this game's out. I've been waiting for this game for a long time. I was watching one of my favorite MLB the Show streamers, and you'll love this. So he's over there. He's a streamer, so he bought like 300 packs, and he's just sitting there ripping them on stream right as the game launched. He pulled 4 copies of Diamond Hagensmith.
Oh, come on.
4 copies.
Don't you ever wonder if like San Diego Studios sets them up with packs that crack that often? Like, you know what I mean?
Maybe. Well, he opened 300, and I think he only got like 7 total diamonds. And it's like, all right, I don't think they're doing juice packs. It's just hilarious that he was like, I don't even know who this guy is.
Let me tell you a story, my friend. No, that's awesome. I love that.
That's cool.
So yeah, MLB the Show's out. We're having fun with that. We'll continue to pour way too much time into that than we probably should.
Yes.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about and make sure we hit on today was we have a new highest paid manager in baseball, and it is the most deserving guy in all of baseball, Dave Roberts.
Yeah,
he's finally.
Yeah, it's so funny too because it's like this extension hit, and I was like, yeah, of course, like, duh. That was going to happen. What are you going to do? Let him walk? No, that was never going to happen. But it's so funny, too, because do you remember a year ago when I was saying on this podcast, Dave Roberts needs to win a World Series, otherwise his job might be in the line?
Yeah.
And I still don't think that was a crazy take. I still think that was like somewhat believable. There was a world where that happened because it was like, if you can't do it with this lineup, dude, we got problems. It's crazy what championships do to prove that your system works, you know? And I mean, just seeing him in action like we did in Arizona, you can tell this guy is just a baseball guy. He loves being around his guys. He loves being around the team. The fans love him. The players love him. Couldn't think of a more deserving guy. I love Dave Roberts.
Yeah, so he's a smidge over Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell's at $8 million a year, or at least $8 million average annual value, and then our boy Dave is at 8.1. So you know that was a flex, obviously.
Absolutely. Well, I honestly don't even know if Dave cared or his agent. His agent might have, but I bet you it's the Dodgers being like, no, our guy.
Yeah, no. We're gonna do Dodgers things, and you know what? We love you so much, Dave. It's gonna be non-deferred, okay? All up
right
front.
Now. Well, manager salaries don't count toward the luxury tax.
True, that's true.
You can pay your manager $1 billion, and nobody cares.
Yeah, 100%. It would be stupid, but you could. Going down to Florida, man, the Rays are just my heart is going out to Rays fans right now. Mr. Stewie Stu, their owner down there, man, is just like screwing the pooch. He can't figure this shit out. No,
what we're referencing right now is that the Tampa Bay Rays announced that their plans for a new ballpark to be constructed by 2027. I mean, it's about to be opening day 2025, and we haven't heard a damn thing about them breaking ground. So obviously that was not going to be ready for 2027. But they officially confirmed that those ballpark plans are not moving forward, and they don't have a plan to build a new ballpark in the St. Pete, Tampa area. That is soul crushing. And I think that this comes on the heels of like a whole lot of speculation over the past couple of weeks that have come out about maybe MLB stepping in and either forcing a sale of the Rays or forcing a relocation of the Rays. And from what it sounds like, the Rays ownership group would be leaning towards the relocation side. Like, this is the way that they're posturing, and MLB has a lot of tools in their tool bag. It seems to withhold funds in certain ways and revenue sharing models and commissioner revenue that he happens to have full control of, that he could just withhold from the Rays and cut them out of the financial pie in order to try to hostile takeover force a sale of the team. I'm personally in the boat of I would love to see the team sold and stay in the Tampa St. Pete area. That's just my personal opinion. I went through the, thinking of pros and cons. I'd love to see team, end up in a place like Nashville or even like Salt Lake City. That would be so much fun, but it's better for teams to get expansion teams there than it is to relocate. And so with that in mind, and also with the idea in mind to not abandon the fans of that area of Florida, I really think it would be good to see a financially the opposite of strapped, financially flush team ownership group come in and just take the American League East by storm, because that's the kind of ownership group I think you need in that division, especially when you've got big dogs like the Yankees, Red Sox, and Orioles that are flexing financial muscles right now, along with the Blue Jays.
Right.
you need a team that's willing to spend money. And just right now, I mean, right now and always, the Rays have not been that franchise.
No, I think their owner definitely is seemingly, like you said, inclined to keep the team. He's very adamant the other day that he wasn't going to sell it or it wasn't for sale. But there something's got to give. Apparently from what the reports are that he's actually still may open a conversation with the city of Tampa. Might remember that his conversations up to this point have been with St. Petersburg,
Right.
so he's going to have conversations with Tampa. That could be a viable solution still. So if you're in Tampa and you like your Rays, they may not move, but there is a possibility that if he's not going to sell and they need a ballpark to increase their revenue, Orlando may be an option. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, that would be fun.
That would be. I mean, talk about that. I mean, think about that. You have all the people that live in Orlando. I think people, I go to Florida like twice a year. I'm familiar with the state and the area. Orlando they have a lush population in Orlando. That place is hopping all the time, and that's not even just with the tourists, just the people that actually live there and call it home. But you add the tourism in there, like
that's
probably
Disney,
better than Tampa.
If you go to
honestly.
Disney, you fly into the Orlando airport. Like that is an area that is not, I won't say kept afloat, but definitely benefits from the Disney effect in a big way.
Like if you were to move a team to Orlando, I almost feel like that is economically better than in Tampa.
Yeah, I think you stick in Tampa solely just for the small fan base you've accumulated over the last however many years. What is it? 98, I think was their expansion year.
Yeah, there for the Vibes and the Hurricanes.
20.
Yeah.
Vibes and Hurricanes are going to hit Orlando as much as they're going to hit Tampa. So this isn't my original take. I've heard this, several different places and several different podcasts and stuff like that. But the Rays were never going to have transplant fans, right? Like, I mean, Florida's a retirement community. A lot of retirement-driven people move there, and people are moving from cold weather states that already have teams, and you're not going to switch to be a Rays fan when you move there. But their kids might, being brought to the Trop might end up being Rays fans. And now you start building a small fan base, and that fan base, as that team gets more successful, is going to draw in more interest. And that's how you build a fan base. And unfortunately, because of the nature of the Rays' success, that has never been really brought to fruition, because when you succeed without a single player that you feel comfortable spending $300 on a jersey on, it's like, okay, I'm glad you guys are doing well, but whose jersey am I buying? Am I buying just a hat? Am I, who's buying season tickets to see a team where you don't know who would you? Evan Longoria is still like the biggest franchise player in the franchise's history, right? It's been a while since he's been a Ray, and he spent a significant amount of time not playing for the Rays in his career. So I don't know, man. It's a weird situation to be as a fan.
Yeah, it is. It really is. No, don't know what they'll make of it, but we'll see here soon. They can't talk to the city of Tampa until the current deal expires, which is the end of this month on the 31st. So we'll see. We'll be tracking it. I'm very curious to see what happens.
3 years to build a stadium is still a pretty fast timeline. So we're talking a few years of playing at Steinbrenner Field before the Rays figure it out.
Well, the good news is that it looks like they're going to be able to fix the roof for 2026. So they're going to go back to the Trop.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, I thought we were just the Trop was gone forever.
No. The city of St. Petersburg is on the hook and has to pay to fix the Trop.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is no chump change. That's $55 million to fix that roof.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, that'll be nice to not have two different teams in minor league / spring training ballparks starting next year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Parker.
We got some predictions to make.
I think we have some predictions to make. You know, folks, we did our division previews leading up to spring training. We went out to Arizona. Hold on. Stop. I had the worst case of the Monday blues last weekend, dude. Honestly, this week was really rough for me, other than it just because of busy work stuff, but also because we had such a good time that I didn't want to leave, and I was thinking about it all week long. Long.
I had, like you said, the worst case of the Mondays. I also had I'm still sniffling along with that cold that I picked up when I was out there. So like Arizona, you stuck with me if nothing. But yeah, dude, I miss it. I keep thinking back to just walking around and literally what was baseball heaven, and it's like I need baseball to start. And luckily, we are less than a week away from real baseball games that count happening.
Yeah.
So the Tokyo Dome is getting prepped, and the teams are already in Japan getting ready for the opening series out in Tokyo. But yeah, absolutely. That Arizona trip, it was good for the soul, man. The baseball fan piece of my heart is full to bursting and ready for this baseball season.
Sure is. Between that and MLB the Show, I feel just like I just got like two huge just battery jolts into my soul.
Oh yeah,
man,
I'm ready for 162 games. I'm so ready.
Hell yeah. We also have more spring training content to share with the people that we haven't yet, like all those videos. So stay
like
tuned,
I said,
folks.
I've
Those
been
are
battling
coming.
a cold, and there's a whole almost terabytes worth of footage sitting on my SSD that I have to get into and chop up. And
we'll get it out to you. Don't worry.
We're gonna get it to you as soon as I can.
Good shit. All right. So we do have predictions. We wanted to dive into kind of those bigger predictions of season awards and pennants and ultimate World Series predictions. So what we'll do is we're going to go into the American League. We're going to give you, for each league, our MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, batting champion, highest average, comeback player of the year. And then for each league, we're going to give you our pennant winner. And then we're going to talk about our ultimate World Series predictions at the end. I feel like there's going to be some doozies in here. We're coming off this spring training high.
Yeah.
It may have influenced some of my picks. Not gonna lie. We'll see.
Okay. I'm interested to see what that means.
All right. So let's start with the American League, Parker. We're just going to go down the line here. We're going to talk through all of these. Let's start with the big one in the American League. Let's start with MVP. Who do you got winning the MVP in the AL in 2025?
Like you said, some of my picks also are going to be influenced by our spring training trip. And I think it's no secret, especially once I finally get this fucking video edited and out to the people. Bobby Witt Jr. is my pick for MVP. Got to be the AL MVP. I think Judge is probably due to miss, like I said, like 60 games this year because he stubs his toe or something like that. And I genuinely believe that this is it. This is Bobby Witt's year to come out, to really establish some dominance in the AL, to put up another 30-30 season, if not better. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to him right now.
I was there with you. I also picked Bobby for AL MVP, and you know what? We talk about this a lot on this time we spend together every week. Aaron Judge, obviously MVP level player, no doubt about it. But there's something to be said about Bobby Witt's complete game that Aaron Judge lacks in a few areas. And come hell or high water, this guy is going to get an MVP at some point.
If not multiple.
If not multiple. In fact, I would bet multiple. But Fangraphs for 25 has him projected at 30 home runs, 292 average, and a 139 weighted run created plus, and almost 7 WAR. That is an MVP season. If he just does that, I think he's going to beat half of those numbers.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, no, I completely agree. In any other season, I think, besides last year, Bobby Witt runs away with the MVP. Gunner's going to give him a run for his money, and I don't want to not say anything about Gunnar Henderson because he was the next guy I think is just he's that other amazing shortstop in the American League, and I think that Gunnar will hit more home runs. I just believe that Bobby's the more I think he's the more electrifying ball player. I also think that the Royals will be more successful, and thereby Bobby will look like a more appealing candidate to voters for the MVP. But Gunner's going to have an incredible season. Aaron Judge could just do it again. You know, he could just win another MVP. That's always on the table. But you know, I'm gonna put my my weight behind Bobby on this one for sure.
Yeah, we're big Bobby fans here. I'm very interested to see if how many picks we have the same per usual. We'll see.
We think about the game too similarly. We were talking about this in spring training. Horrible podcast to listen to because once one person talks, it's the same thoughts for the second person.
Yeah, that's just so dumb. I'm gonna be the antithesis of you going forward if that's what it takes. All right, Cy Young. I'm gonna go first on this one.
Yeah,
okay?
You got it.
Here's my Cy Young pick. I love this guy. This guy is such a special place in my heart. He is electric. He is a left-handed beast. He is going to give you 180 innings this year. I just feel it in my soul. I'm going with 2025 Cy Young AL, Garrett Crochet, baby.
So for me, it was like, so last year for my Cy Young pick, I picked Logan Gilbert. And
oh yeah.
And I still think Logan Gilbert could just come out and win a Cy Young this year. Like it's
You're
not
riding the Logan train. All right.
Well, no, hold on. No, I think he could.
I'm on the train and I'm about to jump off the train.
I'm preparing for a leap off of the train. I still think Logan Gilbert has it in him to certainly get himself a Cy Young this year, but I'm gonna go with you on this. I think that this year is the Garrett Crochet year. He's already throwing 101 in spring training. He's got like, I think a bajillion K per nine, I'm pretty sure is the exact stat. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. If he's starting the year this hot, he's going to just start making batters look like fools. He's not going to have any shortage of innings. And I think that those innings are just going to be awesome for him because he's going to continue to keep striking people out. So I think he strikes out like 220 people, if not more, this season. And I think he wins the Cy Young.
I'll tell you what, this is not fair to Braden Montgomery, what's about to come out of my mouth. But if he wins a goddamn Cy Young this year, I need Braden Montgomery to be the next coming of like Juan Soto. Like seriously, if that happens,
no pressure.
I will carry those expectations. Just saying.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, if the Red Sox don't ink him to an extension before opening day, I don't think they will. Period. So
I don't think so either. I think let's be clear to the Red Sox fans out there. I don't know that I think that once his years of control is over, he's got 2 more seasons, that he's going to be gone from. I think there's potential that he may stay in Red Sox land.
It's just going to cost $400 million.
That's right. It won't be in an extension scenario, without a doubt.
No, I agree with you on that. Yeah, Garrett Crochet. Chalk him up. AL Cy Young. I think we're getting rid of the chalk picks. I think that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good. Fantastic. This is where things are probably going to look a little different for you and I after we get through the best pitcher and best hitters of the years. Let's go to Rookie of the Year for the AL. Who do you got for that?
I'm going to go. Here's the deal. I had to think really hard about some of these picks. Like, do I want to really ride? Because the thing is that a lot of these guys that I'm going to pick are Red Sox, and they're also favored. So, like,
This is not a Red Sox show, Parker.
It's not, but it is the homer pick. But the cool thing is I get the excuse of these guys being favored, even though they're homer picks. So I am going to pick Christian Campbell. I think Christian Campbell breaks camp with the Red Sox, and I think he goes. And it's better for the Red Sox if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, right? Like then you can kind of, if he's not doing too great, you can send him down, not really burn a year of service time, stuff like that. But if he wins the Rookie of the Year, you get a compensation pick and stuff like that. So there's play on that. I think he's an electric factory. He has started coming alive in the last couple of weeks of spring. Alex Bregman, fun fact, hasn't taken a single fucking pitch at second base in spring training.
Wow,
none of the
shocker.
smoke meant that there was any fire. Alex Bregman's going to probably be the opening day third baseman for the Red Sox. Rafael Devers was just quoted the other day saying he'll play anywhere the team needs him to, including DH. Christian Campbell's going to be my opening day second baseman. I think he wins the Rookie of the Year.
I think that's a great pick, and I'm absolutely shocked the Red Sox didn't put a Gold Glove third baseman at second base. I mean, tickle me shocked. I don't know what the hell are we doing here, folks. Like, stop sensationalizing the obvious things in baseball. Numbers don't lie. Done. Period. That's it.
Not only that, how the fuck do you look your starting rotation and your big left-hander we both just picked for the Cy Young in the eye and go, we're going to put the guy who leads Major League Baseball in third base errors over the last 7 seasons. We're going to keep him at third base even though we have a Gold Glover waiting in the wings. You can't do that. That doesn't inspire Garrett Crochet to sign an extension. You need to roll out the best defense you can. I think that's what the Red Sox will do.
100%. All right. My Rookie of the Year for the American League, I'm going pitcher, and I'm going to Detroit City, and we're going to go with Jackson Jobe.
Okay.
Of the
I'm
Detroit
excited for this
Tigers.
guy. I'm glad you're doing this.
Me too. He's obviously a top 10 prospect. He's MLB's number 5. And what really I think makes Jackson Jobe really exciting is that he's got honestly like 4+ pitches. He's got the four seam, the slider, the cutter, and the changeup, and all are plus pitches. Truly, he did have a couple appearances in the regular season last year. Also had the postseason appearance, but he's one of those that, as long as he's healthy, I suspect he'll be in the rotation. And he's one of these guys that is going to be sneaky good, and nobody's going to talk about him until he starts putting up mad stats, which I think he could do in 25.
Projected by Zips to have a 7 K per 9, which is pretty good. Pretty damn good for your first season.
I will take that.
Absolutely. Good pick. I'm a fan of that. Can we do comeback player of the year? We didn't prep for this.
No, we didn't. Why are you asking?
Because I want to talk about Michael Trout. I want to talk about how Mike Trout is due, and he's going to come out and he's going to be very good. Mike Trout, in case you've forgotten, is the same age as Aaron Judge and could just fuck around and win an MVP this season if he stays healthy the whole year.
Honestly, that sounds crazy, but that's what you could get with Mike Trout. If there's anyone who's going to surprise the shit out of you and do that, it's going to be him. Also, he's in right field.
He's not playing center. That's going to make him so much healthier, man. You don't need to swipe 30 bags if you're right field Mike Trout. How about we swipe 6 and hit 45 home runs and continue to be in the lineup every single day? If he swipes 45 bags and knocks in 90, 100 runs,
boy, oh boy, oh boy.
You're not telling he could finish third at MVP.
I mean, that would be if he were to do that, Parker, do you understand that we'd be talking about this season for Mike Trout for the next 40, 50 years?
Remember that time? It's like we're going to continue to talk about the Justin Verlander post Tommy John Cy Young for the next 40, 50 years. Every time someone gets Cy Young, Garrett Cole getting Tommy John this year will inspire Justin Verlander, Tommy John Cy Young talks next year. And we're going to talk about that for the next 50 years every time somebody gets clipped.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, my comeback player of the year pick is Mike Trout.
Wow, I mean, I can't even deny that. That is an awesome pick. 100% agree with you.
A dark horse in that would be Jacob deGrom. I'm just saying.
Let's not get calm down. Let's not get carried away here. All right.
I'll have my time to talk about Jacob deGrom in this episode. Don't you worry.
Okay, great, because I trust Mike Trout over Jacob deGrom to be playing regular baseball.
So do I. Yeah. For sure.
Speaking of guys who have not played regular baseball recently, I'm going to go with a pitcher for comeback player of the year as well. And I'm going to go with a guy who missed all of last season for his own Tommy John surgery. I'm going to go with a guy who's a 2-time All-Star and only pitching 3 seasons with the Tampa Bay Rays, and that is my buddy Shane McClanahan, who let's just talk about this for a second. I'm guilty of this. I bet you are, and I bet every baseball fan is. I totally forgot about Shane McClanahan, and he is one of the most electric pitchers in our game, and I think it is well within him to go out and just have a near Cy Young type season coming back off of surgery.
I can totally see it. I didn't forget about him, but that's only because I'm used to seeing him shove it up the Red Sox ass 4 times a season.
Good point.
Yeah, genuinely. Only reason I don't forget about Shane McClanahan is because there are very few of these in baseball. But if you watch as many games as me and Anthony do, he is the kind of guy that makes you open the MLB app to go, please tell me we missed McClanahan on this trip.
Yeah.
Like I do that every time the Red Sox play the Rays. I have to check to see if they got McClanahan, and it's like. I remember back when Roy Halladay was on the Blue Jays, we used to pitch against us every fucking series, man. We never once missed Roy Halladay. And that's how it feels oftentimes with Shane McClanahan. I'm with you on that. That's a fantastic pick. It's probably a more likely pick than Mike Trout because he could just pull a Verlander and win a Cy Young.
Totally, man. That would be fun. Which honestly, if we're being honest, based on our recent conversation we just had about the Rays, they could use something like that right now.
Absolutely.
That'd be fantastic.
How cool of a story would that be? Oh, you take away my ballpark? Oh, I get to pitch in sunny freaking George Steinbrenner Field every single time I'm out there? Shane McClanahan. Let's go win a Cy Young in a spring training ballpark.
I love it. All right, last one before we get to the pennant winner for the American League. Batting champion. So the player with the highest batting average in 2025 out of the American League is Parker.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
You went there.
I
you
did.
went there.
That was one thing we brought up the last time we talked about Vladdy is how incredibly good he is at bat to ball, and we forget about it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had a 323 batting average last year. He could easily replicate that, and in a down year for everybody else, who knows? Who knows? That could be a batting title right there. So I think this is a prove it year in a big way for him. I think he wins a batting title.
I could see it. I'm a sucker for a prove it year.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it is so easy for us to overlook Vlad's bat to ball skills. He's a bigger dude. We all know this. He's a tall dude. Let's not forget he is one of the best pure hitters in the game. And it's so easy to forget about that. It's just so easy.
We didn't even talk about any of the he turned down 15 years and less than 600 million. We had a conversation real quick just to hit on it. We had a conversation, I don't know, a couple shows ago about how I don't think there was a single number that the Blue Jays could put out there that would get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to stay.
I would agree. Yeah.
I think that proves it, in my opinion.
I think so. I don't know how you, and this is just me from my perspective. This is like a very subjective thing, but I don't know how when you're someone of Vladdy's built with the couple down seasons he has had, if someone's giving you 500 million, I'm not sure how you say no to that.
I think he just doesn't like the pieces around him, and I don't blame him. And it's not for lack of effort, which sucks for Blue Jays fans.
I know. We'll never forget the plane saga.
Shohei Ohtani's still on that fucking plane. All right, he's still on a plane to Toronto.
It's you know what it is. Have you ever seen that show Manifest on Netflix? That's what it is. It's this show. Okay, you got to fucking watch this show. It's awesome. But there's these people that get on a plane and then for a trip, and then that plane lands at the airport, but 10 years has passed, but they came back thinking no time has passed. You got to watch this. Okay. Anyway,
we just started Severance. Watching an episode tonight. 2 episodes.
Everyone and their mother has been telling me to watch Severance. I hear that more than anything right now.
It's one of those shows where people are like, "What's it about?" And I'm like, I can't even tell you what it's about because that's a spoiler. But it's good. The concept hooks you, and the concept is kind of a spoiler just to even explain. So,
okay, maybe I'll consider this. All right, maybe I'll consider this. All right, we're going to have to come back and do best show of the year predictions. Anyway, my batting champion for the American League, this is just a fun one. I feel like you're going to love it. I'm a feelings vibes guy, and I do think this guy could have an improved season even beyond what he did last year in a Red Sox uniform. I'm going with Jarren Duran.
Wow.
I could
at
see
least
it.
The episode.
Spaceballs, the predictions. No, I'm telling you. It'd be so fun to see, and I think he's one of those guys that can be really sneaky with the bat.
9 WAR last season, man. Could be 10 this year. Who knows?
That's unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy how much speed plays. Speed and defense really help him. You steal 30, 40 bases. It's crazy how high your WAR goes.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's wrap up the American League with our pennant winner in the American League. Parker, who is going to the World Series in the American League?
Okay, so you might be expecting me to start singing the praises of my Boston Red Sox, and believe me, nobody wants to do that more than me. But I'm not going to do that. I have decided that it would be too heartbreaking for both my prediction and my baseball enjoyment as a fan to both hinge on the Red Sox becoming a World Series contender overnight. And I have decided that the safer pick, probably the more realistic pick, is to pick a team that we did not pick a single player to win a single award, but that is probably by, let's say, June, going to separate themselves to a degree to make it so that the American League will truly run through Arlington, Texas. And I believe that the Texas Rangers are going to represent the American League in the World Series. Adam, we love you. I'll text you so you can actually listen to this episode of all episodes. I truly believe that this is the year that lineup goes from being a young lineup full of potential to holy shit, we have to play the Rangers. What is going to happen? And that rotation is sneaky good. If you get 100 innings out of Jacob deGrom, I think this team is insane. If you get 140 innings out of Nathan Eovaldi, and we talked about this over text, I think either today or yesterday. If Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker turn out to be 3/4 of the players that we believe that they could have been when they were drafted or when they had that season at Vanderbilt, we are talking about a Rangers rotation that gets up there with the Mariners. These guys could be incredible. And if it goes right, if those guys in the lineup like Wyatt Langford take steps, I think that this league has to just keep their eyes pointed at Texas, because it's no longer the Astros division. It's going to be the Rangers division. I think it's going to be the Rangers league.
Wow. That is a fantastic prediction. And I'll tell you what, Parker, when I thought about who's going to win the pennant in the AL, I was between two teams, and one of them was, in fact, the Rangers. For everything you just said, I could not just ditto to all of it. I'm with you. But I was curious. I looked at the pennant odds for the AL. Okay. The Rangers were at plus 1,100. All right. There was a team that was right next to them at plus 1,200. And I was like, interesting.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that plus 1,200 team because, like you said, Parker, it would be weird for a team to go to World Series contender overnight, but crazier shit has happened.
Yep.
I think it could be the Red Sox. And I'm not saying that to kiss your ass. I really mean that it could be. It really could. It could, man.
It really could. It could be
crazier things have happened. I'm telling you. If they stay healthy, if Jarren Duran looks like himself again, if that rotation led by Garrett Crochet is just throwing bullets, it's not out of the ballpark.
If Jarren Duran has, let's not even put the pressure on him to win or even be close to an MVP, has a 7-WAR season.
Yep.
Cedar Rafael getting every day at bats in center field. Willie Abreu is a Gold Glover and a good hitter. Tristan Casas gets a full season. Christian Campbell is an AL Rookie of the Year contender. Trevor Story comes back, plays good shortstop. Bregman is Bregman, and Devers continues to be Devers. That's a great lineup, and we already talked about the rotation. So yeah. I am so worried about the bullpen that I am just it literally gives me goosebumps to think about. We need somebody to figure out who the hell's the closer. I think it's going to be Justin Slayton, but we'll see.
I don't see. I would even tell you not to be so worried about the bullpen. Bullpens for me, I struggle with bullpens because I'm like you. It's so easy for me to worry about a bullpen, but bullpens are those things that you can't worry about them until it's actually happening because they're so volatile, right? So like that bullpen may go and shove for 2 months and then fall off a cliff in May. You know what I mean? Like it's
like
hard.
The 2024 Red Sox.
Bingo.
Yeah. No, I agree. And also, what is more supplemental at the deadline than a bullpen? Like, that is the thing you do. You go get 3 relievers and 1 bat, and boom, you're a contender.
Every year, every team has that one bullpen arm where you're like, where the hell did this guy come from? Like,
absolutely.
Every year.
Luke Weaver. Who the heck? What?
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. I appreciate the pick. I appreciate it because I didn't have the balls. Genuinely, I don't have the balls to so directly tie my mental health to one team. I want to talk about a couple dark horse candidates in the AL though before we move on.
Let's do it.
The Royals. We saw some really good baseball in surprise from those Royals, and I think that could be coming to fruition here.
You know what's going to push the Royals over the edge, I think, is a lot of what we saw in that game. And that's, let's be clear, it's spring training. We understand. We get it, whatever. Yep. but it's not a causation, but there's some correlation there. And I do think that what they did that night is something they'll do good all year, and that's situational hitting. They're just really good at it, and they're really good at finding the holes in the defense. And if they continue to do that, 100%, because again, one of these teams that just needs to get into the dance. And once they do, when you have a rotation led by a Cole Reagans, you have a Bobby Witt leading offer in second, like, that's very appealing.
Yeah, and I am so mad that the one time we didn't have a camera rolling when we were in Arizona was when we were sitting in the stands watching that Royals game. And Anthony turns to me and goes, I'm starting to think you were right during your AL Central prediction, man. Which is the highest form of flattery. But yeah, no, I mean, they're going to have their work cut out for them because the Tigers could still they have something to say about it. But I really like the Royals, and that's not a secret. So figured I'd bring them up.
Love that. Love that. Any other dark horses, or are you settled on the Royals?
I mentioned the Tigers. The Tigers have that outside shot. The Orioles, maybe, but like you need starting pitching, and unless they're planning on trading for Sandy Alcantara, I don't know. I really think it comes down to a couple teams in the AL. It's not as wide open, I think, in the AL.
No, I don't think so. I think if the Orioles do not make it into the postseason this year, they're going to be in a world of trouble. Like, we're going to be having conversations about what this team looks like.
Or are they just going to be forced to spend a few bucks on some pitching and then all of a sudden they're World Series contenders?
No, I think both things are true.
Yeah.
Yes. I think so. But when I say world of trouble, I mean like their fans are going to shit a brick. Like we've told you for 3 straight seasons, you need starting pitching. How many more times do you need to flop in September and October for us to get this through your freaking head?
Yep. I couldn't agree more.
I get upset, and I'm not even a fan of them. I get upset about it.
Yeah, because you want to see these young teams do well. Like, you want to see all of this investment. We all are emotionally invested in a young, exciting Orioles lineup. We just want to see it happen.
100%. All right, let's move on to the National League. National League MVP. I gave you the start for the American League. I'm going to start for the National League MVP. I'm going to go to a guy who is, I mean, you're talking about, 5 tools. I mean, he's going to have them. I do think when you look at his Fangraphs projection, they're a little low on him. So right now they project him at 25 homers, a 258 average, which I think he'll surpass, and a 4.9 WAR.
I think you're taking my pick.
So I think I am, because I think you and I are seeing eye to eye on this. I'm going Mr. Ellie De La Cruz for the MVP.
Oh, no, you didn't take my pick. All right, cool.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think Ellie De La Cruz, I think he's showed us the tools. I think I'm just waiting for him to just absolutely pop off, and I think this year he could do it.
Yeah, right up there, top 3 toolsiest guys in the MLB. In MLB, not the MLB. In MLB, we got Bobby Witt, you got Ellie De La Cruz, you got Gunnar Henderson. Those guys are all in a class of their own. Ellie may even be higher than any of them. He is just raw athleticism thrown onto a baseball diamond, and you like Ellie De La Cruz is what happens when you look at like a football game and you're like, wow, look at these freak athletes. What would happen if one of them played baseball? That's Ellie De La Cruz. It would be Ellie De La Cruz.
He's legitimately a wide receiver out there.
Yes. What is he, 6'4"? He's insane. He's crazy. I can't wait for him to move to center field, start hitting completely lefty, and then win 3 back-to-back MVPs.
Who do you got for MVP? The
National League MVP, I have another shortstop. But he hasn't always been a shortstop. And I think it's time for this guy to come back and show that he's not just the 3rd best player on his team. I think Mookie Betts has something to say about this season, and I think that he's going to have another season of playing shortstop under his belt. It's no longer an adjustment. It's just his job. And I think he's going to come out. He's going to continue to play elite-level defense at the position. He's going to continue to mash home runs because nobody's got more protection, arguably, in their lineup than Mookie Betts.
Nope.
And I think that he's going to do a fantastic job. I think he's going to win an MVP. I would love to see Mookie Betts win an MVP. But he's got a lot of competition because we got to mention dark horse candidates, and Shohei Ohtani exists, and there's a plethora of other guys. Look, Corbin Carroll could come out and win an MVP this year. He could do a Jarren Duran and just put up 10 WAR of like stolen bases and doubles, and it's like, oh wow, look at that, Corbin Carroll's the NL MVP.
I thought about Shohei, not gonna lie, but I think it's not that it's not possible because Shohei's freak Shohei, but
Mm-hmm.
the less time he spends pitching, the less time I can make a valid argument for him there.
Okay.
Um,
Even after winning
this
one as a DH.
even after winning one as a DH, and here's why I say that, because I also thought about Mookie Betts, and here's what I think about with Mookie Betts. Like the award is literally called the
most
most valuable player.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at all players in baseball without even considering what their performance is this year, Mookie Betts could literally catch if he needed to. Like, this guy is literally the most valuable player on any baseball team. I mean, add on what he's bound to do in 25, it's a really strong case for MVP.
I agree. You bring up Shohei Ohtani, and not to derail the conversation again, but it's our show. We get to do what we want. Did you see the Barry Bonds comments about Shohei this week?
No.
Barry Bonds went on a podcast, and Barry Bonds doesn't do media very often, and I don't think he's going to do it again for a while. Because he had one of those boomer fucking takes that I've ever seen. And I love Barry Bonds. You're going to have a hard time getting a negative comment about Barry Bonds out of my mouth. Genuinely believe greatest hitter of all time. Don't care he was on steroids. Everybody was. That's my take on it. I love Barry Bonds. Barry Lamar Bonds, I think, is the greatest hitter. Pure, just only hitter in baseball history.
Sure.
He said that he just thinks that Shohei is doing too much and that he should just focus on hitting. It's like, okay, that would be a great take to have if he was like a middle of the pack pitcher who had never won an MVP and never been in a discussion for a Cy Young, took a year off from pitching and then won an MVP, 50-50. I could, if that were the case, if that was the world we lived in, it would be a great take and everybody would make it. But no, he's top 5 hitter in the game and also a I won't say top 5, top 10 pitcher in the game. Nobody can do what he's doing. And also, it's the best thing for the game since Barry Bonds breaking 70 home runs.
Bingo.
So,
bingo. Like, it's
shut up, Barry.
Totally. Relax, Joe Dowd. Okay? Relax. He's also... That's coming from someone who didn't pay this guy $700 million.
Yeah, it's too late now. He's a pitcher. He's a pitcher hitter.
100%. The Dodgers literally will not let him just DH. There's no way in hell. No way.
Nobody's a $70 million a year hitter. Even Barry Bonds at the peak of his powers is not a $70 million a year hitter.
Not a chance. That's hilarious. I did not hear that. Oh my goodness.
The only thing that makes you worth $70 million a year is creating another roster spot. And that's what Shohei Ohtani does.
Bingo. All right, that's MVP. Let's go to Cy Young. This one was a little hard for me until suddenly it wasn't.
Okay.
Parker.
Why don't you go then? Why don't you go?
All right, so this is I don't want. How do I go? How do I start this? If anyone knows me, knows who my favorite players are, this is definitely a homer pick. And it's definitely a pick where you're like, hey, a guy could have a really shitty sophomore season. But if there's anyone who's not going to have a bad sophomore season, it's literally Paul Skeens. He is going to shove. He is going to be a generational pitcher in this league. And I think he wins a Cy Young in 25.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to look very far for the NL Cy Young, and I'm not picking Paul Skeens. I kind of figured you would, and he could just do it. He's probably the favorite. If I had to look at the projections, I would say he's probably the favorite, and I'm down for that. I love that. Paul Skeens made himself even more disgusting this past offseason, in case you missed it. He is adding 2 pitches to his already incredible repertoire.
Nuts.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just Paul Skeens is absolutely disgusting. It's probably his award to lose at this point, judging by how insane he has been. Especially, like, did you see how he made Jackson Holiday look the other day?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, he does that to everybody. Literally
and he's
everybody.
Fired up about it.
Man.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. I'm a big fan of the Paul Skeens pick for NL Cy Young.
But you went another direction. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a guy who is always a Cy Young threat. Could always go out there and win a Cy Young. He has been for a few years now, and also just got a change of scenery to
Rich Hill. Rich Hill.
Dick Mountain, baby, we're back. No, but like, talk about a guy. Think about if you had one of the best pitchers in baseball with some of the best natural movement on their fastball, honestly, that we've seen in the last 30, 40, 50 years, and then just got put in an absolute perfect scenario for himself, for his family, and for a team that has a lot to prove with a lot of young talent. I think Corbin Burns makes a run at an NL Cy Young. He is in the perfect situation. He's going to be the opening day starter for a very upstart, very prove-it Diamondbacks team. And even if the Diamondbacks don't do shit this year, there's a world where Corbin Burns just puts up a 2.1 ERA, makes 30 starts, and pitches 200 innings, and it's like we have to give him the award. There's nobody else to give it to.
Okay, so I love that pick. Everything you said is entirely true. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is he's pitching in the NL West.
Yeah.
That is literally the only thing that could derail that for him.
I thought about that because he's going to have to face that Dodgers lineup like 3-4 times. He's going to have to face that Padres lineup like 3-4 times. And, you're absolutely right. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, I feel really strongly about this. What is the argument I make to make myself feel better about it? And if I had to pick a pitcher that I think has the fuck you to go out there and never give up a home run to the Dodgers this season, I think it's Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
I think 100%. He's got a fire under him at all times for every single start. And that's the guy that I don't know. I could see him taking home the hardware for sure. I could also see him starting game 1 of the World Series.
I could totally. I'm with you. I'm with you. Good pick. All right. National League Rookie of the Year. Who do you got? Is it that obvious? Did we pick the same person? We may have.
I don't know, because I'm picking a guy that is poised to have a pretty huge year on the East Coast.
Oh,
not the West Coast.
You didn't pick the same person.
I did not pick who. I'm pretty sure I know who you picked.
Yeah,
Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz is most likely going to be on the opening day roster for the Nationals, and I would love to see Dylan Cruz come out and just be a dog. People forget he was the second pick in the draft that gave us Paul Skeens.
Yep,
out of that same LSU team. And I think Dylan Cruz is going to come out there and he's going to light the world on fire. I think he's already big league ready. And that's it. Kind of no notes. I think it's Dylan Cruz.
I love that. That's a sneaky pick. No surprise I went with Roki Sasaki here. I think it's mainly the kind of like Paul Skeens. It's kind of his to lose with Rookie of the Year. I think it's interesting with Japanese pitchers. I generally think that in the first year in the league, Japanese pitchers do pretty well, history shows. Mm-hmm. And I do
for the
think
first 2/3 of a season. I feel like.
Sure, yeah. Especially the first 2/3 of the season. I do think that the league will take a little while adjusting to him, and I think that'll put him in a good spot to win Rookie of the Year. So we'll see.
Luis Heel proved anything last year is that you can have an extremely good first 2/3 of the season in a pretty mid-August and September and win Rookie of the Year.
That is true.
He could win a Cy Young too.
He could. Can you imagine Rookie of the Year and Cy Young? Wow.
I hope Paul Skeens enjoyed his one season of having the best splitter in baseball. Because Rocky's splitter is completely different. It is a different pitch in every single sense of the pitch. But it is disgusting.
Well, I'll tell you what, Barker, is if Roki were to win the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young in the same season, he would be the first player to do it since 1981 when another Dodger did it. Who was
Fernando
that Dodger?
Valenzuela.
Boom. Good pull. Nice.
Yep.
God,
you need to give me the Dodger. I already had it.
You already had it. We are so cool. All right, Let's go. All right, here we go.
Comeback?
Batting. Oh, comeback. Let's do comeback. Yeah. So comeback player of the year for the NL. Who do you got? I love these. These are always
Carroll.
fun. Ooh. I mean, that kind of makes sense. You kind of dropped the hint earlier, but I could totally see that.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll. Just because he had a midseason, he was battling shoulder stuff, it seemed, all year last year. He could just come out and have a Jarren Duran season. If he does, I think the reward's his to lose.
I love Corbin Carroll. He is
So do I.
so toolsy, so scrappy. He looks like he's 45, even though he's 23. I love it.
It's like if Dustin Pedroia was an outfielder, it feels like. I think of them in the same. They're the same cloth, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't have to make a pick. I sprung this one on you.
No, that's okay. I was prepared. I had all my picks. Comeback player of the year for me, I'm going pitcher, and I am going Sandy Alcantara.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes, that was the only other guy I considered.
I do think that I compare him to my AL comeback pick with Shane McClanahan. I think he is an absolute electric pitcher. I think he'll be back, and he's looking healthy so far. And also, I think he's playing this season to get out of Miami. I think he will be one of the hottest trade chips this season at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's the only thing that could come in between him and winning the award, I think. If he has another Sandy season, I think you have to give him the award. But if he ends up in the AL by the end of the year, I don't think you can get the award. So watch the Yankees. I don't know if they have the prospect capital to get that done, genuinely.
I don't think so.
But, I mean, if one more starting pitcher goes down for the Red Sox, there's a team with prospect capital to do it. Look out for the Orioles. The Orioles definitely have the prospect capital to get that done. Kobe Mayo, you might be Marlin.
They've also had the prospect capital for 4 years and never done shit, but whatever.
Exactly. You're not wrong. But Sandy Alcantara, I do believe that Sandy Alcantara is going to end up in the AL by the end of the season. And I think that that's what initially made me not pick him and go with Corbin Carroll.
That's a really good point. Shame on me. Very good point. All right. National League batting champion. Who is going to be the batting average leader in the National League? Parker.
Luis Arias is still in the NL, right?
Sure is. He's on the Padres.
Yeah, I don't think you could pick anybody else.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think as long as that guy continues to prove that he can do it, I think he does it. Nobody's going to slap more singles over the second baseman's head, in my opinion.
I think one guy can.
Okay.
I think one guy can. And I'm going to his teammate, Jackson Merrill.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great pick.
Jackson Merrill could absolutely lead the league in batting average. That guy is going to just slap everything across the field like he has been doing, like he's going to do. He's going to get better. He's an exciting guy to watch. I think Luis Ariz is getting kind of old news for me, but Jackson Merrill's the new hot thing, and I'm all about Jackson Merrill.
You know who jumped into my brain, and I'm actually looking at Fangraphs right now to see if it's ever. Yeah, it's definitely on the table. Freddie Freeman could just decide I'm a batting title winner.
He could.
Totally. Now, granted, this is the 60-game season, but he hit 341 in 2020. He hit 325 in 2022, and he hit 331 in 2023. He saw a lot of injury trouble last year and dropped to 282. But Freddie Freeman's one of those guys. I mean, 4 consecutive years of 300 plus. Before having a bunch of injury trouble last year, Freddie Freeman could just win a batting title, and I think that we can't write that off.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Whew, that's a good one. I'll be tracking that one because Luis, like you said, Luis Ariz is the natural pick there. I think that's still very much the case.
Jackson, the other Churio might have something to say as well.
Also true. Also, I don't know that we've ever had so many Jacksons in one year of baseball.
Somebody's got to change their name.
100%. Jackson Churio, Jackson Holiday, Jackson Merrill. There's a Jackson Reitz out there somewhere.
Way too many Jacksons.
I'm trying to think of other Jacksons. So many Jacksons. We could do the Jackson 5 all over again. All right. National League pennant winner. Is this one perhaps the easiest one of all the predictions we've done? I think so.
Slam dunk. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. The Dodgers.
Yes. 100%. And it is not just because we are on a Dodgers high. These are the facts. This is just how life goes in baseball in 2025.
They actually have to lose it before I stop picking them, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. The Dodgers have too much depth. They are too incredibly good at the game of baseball, and they look to have gotten even better from the team that won a World Series last year in 5 games. Yeah, it's the Dodgers, man.
All right, so that begs the ultimate question. You have for the World Series Rangers and Dodgers. I have Red Sox and Dodgers. Let's just answer the question. Are the Dodgers destined here to be the first team to repeat since the early thousands Yankees?
I think so. I truly think so. They have 3 playoff rotations worth of great, incredible starting pitchers. They have the best top to bottom lineup that we've seen since, I don't know, the 90s Yankees, which, oh, wow, that's the team they're trying to follow up on. Until they lose one, it's like the Chiefs in the NFL. They just finally lost the one that means we don't have to pick them every time they play a football game. The Dodgers are going to be my pick in every playoff series they're in until they do not win one.
Man, I mean, it's just so hard to argue with that, right? Like, and here's the funny thing is I don't know that there's many baseball fans out there that could present a legitimate argument to me of anything other than what we're saying here, right? Like, I just think I've talked to other people that have said, oh, I don't want the Dodgers to win again. They're too good. This is just boring. I don't want the same team to win over and over again. Guys, we're seeing what could be one of the most epic, incredible kind of dynasties in baseball ever at the very pinnacle of their performance. And it's happening right now. And that's fun as shit in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks that the game is like broken now because of the Dodgers. Did you live? They must not have lived through the 90s and early 2000s with the Yankees and the Braves and
the Brave, right? Yeah,
yeah. It was like, oh, okay. Well, we knew who was gonna win then, and it was still incredibly fun to watch. So that's what got me into the game of baseball. Was baseball in that era, and yeah, sure, the Dodgers will probably be favored for the next 3-4 seasons. Teoscar's not getting any younger. Freddie's not getting any younger. Mookie's not getting any younger. And Shohei can only do both for about another, I would say generously, 5 years.
Correct. And I think this is one of the things I love about baseball is one of those sports where we talk about it literally all the time. You just need to get into the dance and see what happens. That the proof is in the pudding there. There's a reason why no team has won back-to-back World Series championships since the 99-2000 Yankees. This shit is hard to do. And the Dodgers for the last 5 to 7 years have had just as good teams that have had more wins in the regular season, who've gone further in the playoffs. You know how many times they went to the NLCS and botched it? Tons of times. Like, this
over
is
the last
hard.
5-6 years, people have been trying to say the Dodgers are the shoe-in to win the World Series every single season, basically since they acquired Mookie Betts in 2019. And they've won World Series in a 162-game season to show for that. One. Yeah, the 2020 season happened. I'm not discrediting that championship, but winning, 70 games that year is a lot harder, is a lot easier than winning, 100 in the regular season and then going on a playoff run. They have one full season World Series to show for it. I don't think any baseball season is chalk. We had the Rangers and the fucking Diamondbacks in the World Series 2 years ago, and baseball's a solved game. Excuse me, I would like to take that and throw it in the trash where it belongs.
Trash. So the last thing I'll say about the Dodgers in the World Series, though, is I want to dive into the matchup real quick, because I don't want to just shit on the Red Sox here. I'm going to for a second. I think the Red Sox could have a Cinderella season and get to the World Series, but it's going to be one of those things that if they get to the World Series, they'll be hella exposed playing against the Dodgers, and they'll get swept in the World Series. I see that happening.
I could see them winning one game. I don't need you to do that shit to my fucking team, all right?
A pity here. Have a pity win. You have a pity win. You have a pity win.
Gentlemen's sweep. The Dodgers are nothing but gentlemen. Dave Roberts wouldn't do that to the city of Boston. No, but the reason that you say that, I would assume, is to do with a lot with like youth and the longevity of a season and things like that.
Yeah.
That's what made me think, because both of us, I'm sure, were tempted to pick the other team in our World Series prediction, you being the Red Sox, mine being the Rangers. But at the end of the day, it's like, what argument can I give myself? Like you already said, there isn't an argument you can give me that can convince me that the other team would be favored against the Dodgers. And the reason that I particularly thought about that is, what did I say was my big thing that the Rangers are counting on to make a deep playoff run and to get to the World Series? And it's the development of young guys like Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker. I don't want either of those guys starting game 2 and 3 of my World Series, frankly.
No.
They haven't seen a single lick of meaningful baseball at the big league level, and putting them in the middle of a World Series. Very few people come up and are Walker Buehler and pitching dominantly in their rookie season in the World Series. Very, very, very few people. So I think that I have to agree with you. I think the Dodgers are going to walk their way to not walk. It's going to be more interesting than that. But I think they will win their next World Series. I'm again going to go with 5 games. And say that they take it 4 games to 1.
It's interesting. I'd have to agree with you there. I think the Rangers and Red Sox probably find themselves in a little more similar position than you probably would think at first glance. But what I think is going to make the season just incredibly interesting is that the Dodgers are doing 2 things better than everyone else. They're doing depth better than anyone else.
Yep.
And they're doing basically what I would call kind of season-long winning endurance. They can go 162 and beyond and win games at the same winning percentage and same clip, basically from start to finish. And if you're asking me what other teams in baseball have that going for them, it's none. It's no other team. Yeah. And so I think that's just the huge advantage that the Dodgers have that I don't think we talk about beyond talking about the Shoheis and the Betts and the Freemans. It's they know how to win, they have the depth to win, and they know how to do it for 180 games. They just do.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about every single World Series DVD, every single documentary about a World Series winner is riddled with feel-good stories about somewhat no-name guys who stepped up in big moments.
Can I hear a Steve Pearce? Can I give you a Steve Pearce?
Immediately comes to mind for me in the 2018 World Series. But what are those feel-good stories? What does that actually translate to? Depth. And the Dodgers have done depth better than anyone else in baseball, because when you have guys that could feasibly make an all-star team in a good year if they're playing every day as your depth pieces, nobody's doing it better than them in that regard.
100%. Dude, it's going to be a crazy year of baseball, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know, for as long as I've been following this sport until I was a wee lad, I don't think I've ever been so excited as I am in 2025.
This is definitely a season, especially based on the fact that the Red Sox are like looking pretty good. I'm more excited about this baseball season than I have been basically since the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018 going into 2019. I'm very excited. This is going to be awesome.
It sure will. It sure will. Should we do this again next week?
My calendar's free.
Okay, great. It's always free for baseball, and especially for you, Parker, as always.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We will see you next week here on Late Night Baseball. Catch you later.